Welcome to Chronicles and Curiosities. My name is Chloe, and today we're going to talk about a man who changed the way the Western world thinks about Eastern philosophy. His name was Alan Watts, and he was a philosopher, writer, and speaker who introduced millions of people to the ideas of Zen Buddhism, Taoism, and Hinduism. But who was Alan Watts, and why does his work still matter today? Let's dive in. Alan Watts was born on January 6, 1915, in Chislehurst, England. Even as a child, he was fascinated by the art, culture, and spirituality of Asia. By the time he was a teenager, he was already writing essays on Zen Buddhism. Imagine that, a 14-year-old boy in England, writing about Zen. That early passion would shape the rest of his life. In the 1930s, Watts moved to the United States and became an Episcopal priest. But he soon realized that his true calling was to explore and share the wisdom of Eastern philosophy. He wrote over 25 books, including classics like The Way of Zen and The Wisdom of Insecurity. These books introduced millions of people to the idea that life isn't a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be experienced. One of Watts' most famous ideas is that we are not separate from the universe. We are the universe. He said, "You are the universe experiencing itself." Think about that for a moment. It's a radical idea, especially in the West, where we often see ourselves as separate from nature and each other. Watts encouraged people to let go of rigid thinking and embrace the present moment. During the 1960s, Watts became a central figure in the counterculture movement. His lectures on spirituality, consciousness, and the human condition resonated with a generation that was searching for meaning beyond materialism. He was a pioneer in blending Eastern philosophy with Western psychology, making complex ideas accessible to everyone. One of my favorite quotes from Watts is this: "To have faith is to trust yourself to the water. When you swim, you don't grab hold of the water, because if you do, you will sink and drown. Instead, you relax and float." Isn't that a beautiful metaphor for life? Watts taught us to let go of control and trust in the flow of life. Alan Watts passed away in 1973, but his legacy lives on. His books, lectures, and recordings are still incredibly popular today. People turn to his work for wisdom on how to live in harmony with themselves and the world around them. In a way, Watts was ahead of his time. His ideas about mindfulness, interconnectedness, and the importance of living in the moment feel more relevant than ever. Let's end with one last quote from Watts. "The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance." I think that's a great reminder for all of us, especially in a world that's constantly changing. So what do you think? How can we apply Watts' ideas to our own lives? Thanks for watching, everyone. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What stood out to you about Alan Watts' life and teachings? How do you think his ideas can help us navigate the challenges of modern life? Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.